Democracy Radio 94.9 FM Dakar.
WADR, promoting dialogue.
It's 6 p.m. in Dakar and Freetown. Good evening and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM in Dakar, Senegal. We're also live on YouTube, on Facebook, and also on the WADR app. This is Newslink. I am Atiewin Imbila.
And I am Veronica Njai.
Here are the top stories. Citizens hail the peaceful conduct of Benin's presidential election and urge President-elect Wadani to fulfill his campaign promises.
The first point is that people identified with Wadani's development plan.
Our country is taking steps every day toward a stronger democracy in development.
CSOs and opposition parties in Togo announced rally in May to denounce excesses of Nassimba's government.
Du dernier rapport de Global Financial Integrity.
To the latest report from the Global Financial Integrity, nearly 800 billion CFA francs disappear every year.
Also, a joint ECOWAS and Commonwealth delegation has arrived in Sierra Leone over the ongoing political impasse.
French Parliament adopts bill on restitution of looted African artifacts. Please stay tuned for the details of these stories and more.
West Africa Democracy Radio. It's you speaking.
Many thanks for joining us. Newslink begins in Benin, where the results of the April 12 presidential election have been announced. The Autonomous National Electoral Commission (SENA) released provisional results overnight, declaring ruling coalition candidate Romuald Wadani as the winner. According to the Electoral Commission, Wadani secured more than 94% of the votes cast, while his challenger, Paul Humpe, garnered just about 5%.
Since the announcement, Beninese citizens have been speaking out, praising the country's democratic maturity and already looking ahead to their expectations for the newly elected leader.
It was predictable, considering the statue of the former minister, whom we have been calling president for a few hours now. I believe there was never really any debate about it. Credit also goes to candidate Paul Humpe, whom I congratulate in passing for his courage. But it is equally to the credit of our democracy and its institutions. This shows that we have credible institutions capable of organizing credible and peaceful elections.
The electoral celebration we witnessed across Benin yesterday confirms this. As Paul Humpe also noted, the first point is that people identified with Wadani's development plan because it addressed their concerns. These demands were taken into account in his program. He also understood that it is together that we can build Benin.
Our country is taking steps every day toward a stronger democracy in development. That's everyone's responsibility.
I feel great emotion seeing such a quick recognition of defeat so that we can move forward. Because on May 24, President Patrice Talon must hand over power and Benin must find its path through this election. I believe the way is now much clearer. Long live Benin's democracy, long live Benin and its development.
Still on the outcome of Benin's April 12 presidential elections, local and international observers have welcomed the peaceful nature, especially in the post-election period.
But what is their immediate reaction to SENA's provisional results declaring Romuald Wadani winner with 94% majority vote, and how will the outcome of Sunday's polls impact Benin's democracy? Well, here is Morgan Asogba, a geopolitical analyst in Cotonou.
The first thing to observe is that the Benin people definitely have decided to maintain the democratic process in terms of having the leadership being selected, no need to use force in the process. And it's also clear that the reforms that have been conducted being, let's say, drastic and serious game changer during when you look at the political landscape have gotten the opportunity to show us what could be the dynamic in terms of political parties' involvement and even citizen participation. So there is a process, democratic process ongoing with huge reforms, and this is an opportunity for the political actors, especially when we observe the way most of the opposition actors decided at the last minute to join the ruling party candidate. It was quite interesting, but it shows that the dynamic is shifting, and we will see what will be the sustainability of this process.
Do stay with us for more analysis from Morgan Asogbar in the second half of the news.
Let's do some other matters, still politics, this time in Togo, where civil society organizations and opposition political parties are joining forces to reset the political scene. The coalition says it plans to remobilize a mass protest on May 9 to denounce the government's excesses. The announcement was made on Monday during a news conference in Lomé, where a new group was presented. Now, describing themselves as a force of resistance, they are calling on Togolese citizens to rise up for liberation.
The group also criticized the governance of Foreigner Simbe, president of the Council of Ministers, pointing to alleged irregularities in the management of public funds. Professor David Dose, coordinator of the Citizens Movement Togo Debout, says,
We have called on the people to rise up, to wake up and to take up the struggle again, because we are facing a government that diverts resources, a government that squanders public funds, a government that has specialized in poor governance with negative impact across all sectors of social, economic and political life. We are therefore calling on the population to a large public rally on Saturday, May 9, 2026. The location will be announced later.
2026. Le lieu sera précisé par la suite. Du dernier rapport de Global Financial Integrity.
We referred to the latest report from the Global Financial Integrity, which states that over the 10 years period from 2013 to 2022, when analyzing Togo's international trade, nearly 800 billion CFA francs disappear every year. I repeat that because you may find it hard to believe. 800 billion CFA francs every year are unaccounted for in the country's international trade flows. This means that trading partners declare amounts paid to Togo, and Togo also makes its own declarations. But when you compare the figures, there is an annual gap of 800 billion CFA francs. This is enormous, about 7 times the health budget, and it is unacceptable.
For le budget de la santé, c'est inacceptable.
Professor David Dose there, coordinator of the Citizens Movement of Togo Debout.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
In the Gambia, civil society organizations are calling for justice and reparations for victims of the police crackdown on protesting students in the year 2000. The appeal was made during the commemoration marking the 26th anniversary of the April 10 and 11 student killings in Banjul, attended by families of victims and civil society groups. Speaking at the said event, those who attended said it was not only about the remembrance, but also a reminder that the country is still struggling to heal from the trauma. From Banjul, WADR's Sang Donald Mendy reports.
In April 2000, security forces under then-President Yahya Jammeh violently cracked down on student protests that followed reports of brutality against students. The crackdown led to deaths, arrests, detention, assaults, rape and torture in several parts of the country. At least 16 people were killed during the violence and in the period that followed. 26 years later, Fantanka Program Coordinator Awa Da Costa says many families are still suffering.
As a country that has committed itself to justice and democratic governance, we must continue to ask, where do we stand today? Have we done enough to ensure there is accountability?
Human rights activist Madi Jobate insists that delay in implementing the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission recommendations is denying victims justice.
We remind the government that since it accepted some 20 TRRC recommendations relating to the student demonstration and freedom of assembly back in May 2022, only one has been implemented.
Yusuf Taylor of Team Gomsabopa also adds his voice.
Of late, we are seeing reports of inappropriate use of crowd control equipment, videos of police assaulting people, and somebody being stamped by police right in the midriff, in the abdomen.
As the Gambia continues its transitional justice process, including the recent appointment of a special prosecutor for Jammeh-era cases, civil society groups are calling for faster delivery of justice. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, I am Sangdana Mendy, reporting from Banjul.
Meanwhile, a tripartite delegation comprising members from the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, UNOWAS, and the Commonwealth is visiting Sierra Leone. Its mission is to assess the implementation of recommendations to resolve the political impasse between the ruling SLPP and the opposition APC party.
This dispute stemmed from controversies during the June 2023 elections, a situation that took an ugly turn after reports suggested an attempted coup d'etat in November of the same year. Usman Umar explains.
A high-level ECOWAS and UN delegation is in Sierra Leone from April 13 to 17 to assess progress on the 2023 National Unity Agreement between the government and the opposition All People's Congress. The deal aims to ease political tensions, restore trust, and strengthen democracy. But since October 2023, when it was signed, its implementation has remained a major challenge. Thus, during the ECOWAS Heads of State and Government's 68th Extraordinary Session held in Abuja last December, regional leaders issued a directive. In accordance with the order, the mission will review key electoral reform recommendations from a 2024 report aimed at strengthening peace, stability and democracy in the country. During the visit, the delegation will meet government officials, opposition leaders, parliament, civil society groups and the diplomatic community. Talks with President Julius Maada Bio are also expected. For regional experts, the success of the National Unity Pact is important to, among others, reduce political tensions, promote dialogue between government and the opposition, and ensure peace and stability in the country. The mission is co-led by former Gambian Vice President Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang and senior UNOWAS official Barry Freeman, with support from experts from ECOWAS, the Commonwealth, and Sierra Leone's Peace Commission.
Usman Umar reporting.
Now, the House of Representatives of Liberia has begun proceedings that could lead to the expulsion of Monsterrado County District Representative. Yeke Koluba is accused of making controversial comments about the ongoing Liberia-Guinea border dispute. The move has raised concerns about freedom of expression within Liberia's democratic institutions and the limits of parliamentary discipline. For their part, opposition groups say it reflects growing political polarization and a possible misuse of legislative power. WADR's Monrovia correspondent Abraham Parker has the details.
The issue stems from remarks made by Representative Yeke Koluba after returning to Liberia, where he reportedly said the disputed territory belongs to Guinea. The comment has since joined stronger criticism from government officials. A motion seeking his expulsion has been filed by Representative Small Moba, Monserrado County District Number 3, and referred to the House Committee on Rules. By Monday, hearings opened, with some lawmakers backing disciplinary action. But the move is facing backlash from opposition parties and sections of the public who say it is politically driven and does not address the real border dispute. The Opposition Congress for Democratic Change, CDC, has also urged citizens and civil society to reject the proposal. Here is Jankako, CDC's chairman.
trying to remove him from the legislature for speaking up is the highest degree of hypocrisy on the part of the Unity Party government. You have no moral grounds today to attack him, but to defend Yaka because you will be defending the democracy of this country. You'll be defending the right of Yaka to speak up. And today we were not safe to see that right trampled upon.
It should be noted that despite a tripartite meeting between Conakry, Freetown and Monrovia, tension remains in the Mano River Union following the recent Bolo disputes. For Newslink on WADR, Abraham Parker, Monrovia.
Let's now talk security. Nigeria's Senate president has linked the rising wave of insecurity in the country to political activities ahead of the next general elections. Their remarks have sparked fresh debate over the role of politics in the nation's security challenges and the implications for public safety. WADR's Abuja correspondent Yechenu Sasetu has the details.
Speaking at a public event in Abuja, Akpabio alleged that some actors are deliberately fueling violence to create fear and distract from governance.
You are seeing insecurity today. It's even increasing because the election is coming. As soon as the election is over, watch out. The first 2 weeks, you will not hear any single bomb blast because people are sponsoring it to distract you. They don't know what else to do.
He further suggested that politically motivated attacks often rise during election periods, expressing optimism that the situation could improve after the elections.
When people are thinking, oh, Nigerians' embassies are closing because election is coming. It's not because election is coming. Election will come and go. God will protect Nigeria. Nigeria will outlive this election.
His comments come days after a court in Abuja concluded its 9th phase of terrorism-related trials. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, while addressing the media last week, disclosed that more than 300 defendants have been prosecuted so far. The Senate President's remarks come amid ongoing security challenges in several parts of the country, including attacks linked to insurgency and banditry. The development continues to raise concerns about the intersection of politics and national security as efforts intensify to address violence across the country. For WADR, Yechenu Sasetu in Abuja.
You're still listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from 94.9 FM in Dakar, Senegal. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we're also live on the WADR app. Here is a recap of our top stories this evening. Citizens hail the peaceful conduct of Benin's presidential election and urge President-elect Wadr to fulfill his campaign promises.
CSOs and opposition political parties in Togo announced rally in May to denounce excesses of Nasimba's government.
Also, a joint ECOWAS and Commonwealth delegation arrives in Sierra Leone over ongoing political impasse.
Still ahead in the news, we have the French Parliament adopting a bill on restitution of looted African artifacts. We also have the guest interview and sports news. Stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
We stick to parliamentary matters, but this time all the way in France. On Monday, French lawmakers unanimously adopted a bill aimed at facilitating the restitution of works looted during the colonial period. This is a long-standing promise made by French President Emmanuel Macron. The text, which had been postponed several times, must now be agreed upon by both deputies and senators before it can be definitively adopted by Parliament. More details in this report by Imo Edit.
The bill on the restitution of cultural property looted between 1815 and 1972 during French colonization has been unanimously adopted by the French National Assembly. This long-awaited text was a promise made to Africa by French President Emmanuel Macron in Ouagadougou in 2017. The framework is intended to facilitate the return of artifacts looted during the colonial period. Until now, French law required a specific law to be passed for each restitution, as was the case for the 26 royal objects returned to Benin and the sword of El Hadj Omar Tall returned to Senegal. From now on, approval from a scientific committee composed of French and African researchers will be sufficient. The Senate has recorded about a dozen requests from different African countries such as Benin, Mali, and Algeria. In 2025, the French Parliament approved the return to Côte d'Ivoire of a talking drum that colonial troops had taken from the Ebre tribe in 1916. It was returned last March. The new bill must now be agreed upon by both members of Parliament and senators, which would lead to its final adoption by Parliament.
There was a report by Imo Edit.
In Ghana, police in the Ashanti region have launched a manhunt for armed robbers who attacked a bus carrying players of Premier League side Brecum Chelsea, killing one. The victim, identified as Dominic Frimpong, was reportedly shot at during the operation, sparking shock across the sporting fraternity and across the country. The team was returning from their matchday 29 fixtures against FC Samatex when the tragic incident occurred. Nadede Teti completes the story.
The police in the Ashanti region are calling for the public's support with information on a group of armed robbers who opened fire on a bus carrying Premier League side Brecum Chelsea, killing one player. This comes as the service launches a manhunt for the perpetrators. Head of the Public Affairs Unit of the Ashanti Regional Police Command, DSP Godwin Ahianyo, has been providing details on the incident.
According to our men who went on the ground, they had a distress call that armed men, 3 of them wielding pump action gun, had blocked that particular stretch of robbing commuters of their personal effects. So the VIP bus, on reaching the scene, suspected the action that was ongoing. So the driver tried to reverse and then take a detour. Unfortunately, the vehicle fell into a ditch. So the armed robbers pursued them and one shot into the vehicle, hitting one of the players on the head. According to my colleagues who were at the scene, managed to send him to the Viviani Government Hospital. While receiving treatment, he passed on.
DSP Godwin Ahianyo says investigations are underway and has appealed to the public to provide any information that could lead to the arrest of the attackers.
So it is our plea to the public that nobody who has information about these criminals, they should just let the police know. Though we are taking some intel. Our intelligence team are on the ground, the crime scene experts are also on the ground, and we have augmented the strength too. So we are working assiduously to ensure that we get them arrested.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Football Association says it will engage key stakeholders to review and strengthen security arrangements for clubs travelling for domestic competitions to prevent such tragic incidents in the future. For WADR, Nadede Tete, Accra.
Politics, analysis on major news, social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
Across Benin, reactions to the outcome of Sunday's presidential election continue after the National Autonomous Electoral Commission, SENA, declared the ruling coalition candidate the winner. Romeo Dwadani secured 94% of the total votes cast, while his challenger, Paul Humpe, generated a little over 5%.
But regardless of the varying opinions on the recent development, the unifying factor for Benin is the fact that the country can maintain its democratic credentials. Morgan Asogba, a regional political and governance expert in Cotonou, analyzes Wadani's victory and the challenge ahead in forming a national unity government.
You know, this will be more, let's say, factual in the coming years, because this is the first experience ever that the country is having in terms of this new dynamic, this new democratic system, because this is definitely a new democratic system. One thing that most people do not want to acknowledge and appears to not understand is that thinking that there is no opposition, it is not objective, especially when you know that we have two political parties. It's true that they are all supporting, for now, the same candidate, but the conflictual nature of interest of each of these actors that are not new to the Benin political landscape, they are all used to the old system. They will definitely find a way to contradict their interests and to make dynamic and lively the political landscape in the coming years. So only the coming years will tell us if we will have a sustainable dynamic, because the MPs will have to either confirm all that has been done so far or decide to change the pathway. So all these, it's showing that the future of politics in Benin Republic will be quite dynamic.
Well, Mr. Morgan, like in many countries, just after a candidate has been declared winner, they will promise a government of national unity. Well, in the case of Benin, is there any chance for this happening, given the developments or incidents in the lead up to the election?
It is clear that the current leadership system in Benin has been proven to not be a system that condone some of the deals that we've been experiencing in the past. Because in the past, when you look at the political activities in Benin, most of the candidates just go to the pool to have a certain leverage. And once they have the leverage, they go ahead and have deals. And this is something that have been going on for a while. But since 2016, we've realized that this is a leadership that does not go ahead with making deals and having political figures take responsibility, political figures from the opposition take responsibilities in leadership. And we will be very surprised to see the change in this way of conducting the public business, because there is always a vision and an agenda. And most of the time, the actors to conduct the agenda, they need to be in line with the dynamic that is being taken. So there will not be, per se, a kind of consensus leadership perspective for all the political actors that have even shown support to join, but there will be a kind of system that will allow all the actors to fall not just in line, but to find themselves in the need of creating their own participation in the leadership.
Morgan Asogba is a regional political and governance expert in Cotonou.
And now to sports news, and Ghana has named Carlos Queiroz as the head coach of the national team, signaling a strong move toward experienced leadership ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The former Real Madrid and Manchester United coach brings a wealth of experience, including guiding Portugal's youth teams to multiple international titles and leading Egypt to the final of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. The Ghana Football Association says the appointment is aimed at strengthening discipline, structure, and consistency within the Black Stars as they push for World Cup win.
Elsewhere in Morocco, the appeal trial of 18 Senegalese fans convicted after the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final is underway in Rabat, with the prosecution pushing for tougher penalties. The defendants who deny involvement in the violence are appealing earlier sentences ranging from 3 months to 1 year in prison. However, prosecutors are now seeking up to 2 years behind bars. The fans face charges including hooliganism, pitch invasion, throwing objects, damaging equipment, and alleged violence against security forces during the January 18 final. And we have come to the end of this edition of Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you so much for listening. Many thanks to Mustafa Sek and Maudo Ju for the technical assistance.
Do interact with us via our social media platforms, X, Instagram, and Facebook at WADR English. We also stream live at WADR.org. I am Veronique Njai.
And I am Atiya Win Imbila. Good evening.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kaigama 94.5 FM, Nibe County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Radio Gulf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM, Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy Radio is all about you, your views, and your opinions.
WADR. You can listen